Good morning. There are hundreds of YouTube channels that focus on marketing and advertising and finance and investment and how to grow your business and how to hire and manage people. There are just a handful that are devoted first to supply chain. And that's a curious thing because that's the most fundamental thing. One of the first questions a child asks is, where did I come from? Where do babies come from? Even a young child figures out that babies don't come from the hospital and that eggs don't come from the supermarket and electricity doesn't come from a hole in the wall. These are actually supply chain questions, and unfortunately it's an afterthought for most people as they grow up until we go to the store and they don't have any eggs, or we flip the switch and the lights don't come on. As business people, before we have a marketing campaign to build, or websites, or we need to hire people and train them, before we need to do accounting and do tax planning and manage the money and invest for the future, first we need to find a product to sell. We either need to make it ourselves or we need to find someone else to do it for us. So supply chain executives are different from other business executives working in all those other areas. We see the world differently. We ask the most important questions first, like where does this thing come from? Who made it? If we decide to build it ourselves, where do we buy the raw materials from? And that perspective gives us a different view of the whole world than other people, even people working in the same company. Tim Cook was the head of supply chain at Apple, by the way. When Steve Jobs got really sick, Apple moved their supply chain guy into the top job. That should happen a lot more often. Apple is great at marketing and advertising and tech and innovation, but nothing happens there unless they have the global supply chain for everything they sell. And supply chain managers just see the world in a different way. Consider the question of the BRICS countries, for example. The big four there are Brazil, Russia, India, and China. There are now a dozen other countries who want to join them. Thailand just signed up last week, and a bunch more on the way. Wall Street analysts are dismissive of the BRICS alliance. Talking heads on TV laugh about it. Supply chain people are not dismissive, and we have never laughed about it. The countries that make up a majority of the world's population, a huge majority of the world's factory production, who have a near monopoly on the world's extraction industries, logistics, ocean shipping, railroads, they have decided they're going to form a new economic bloc comprised of productive economies who run massive trade surpluses with countries outside this bloc. They're going to establish their own economic system of banking and trade. Nobody from a so-called first world country should be dismissive about any of that. This chart helps to explain why. It shows which countries do most of the mining in the world. UNEP-IRP is the International Resource Panel of the UN, the United Nations Environment Program. These are from last year, and on the bottom, they've also included fossil fuel extraction in the numbers. BRICS are Brazil, Russia, India, and China. There's your BRIC countries, 4 out of the top 5. And except for Canada at number 8, the other countries on this chart are much closer to China than with us. That includes Australia. Australians have a Western-style government and they speak English, but their economy is much tighter with China's. China is their biggest consumer of raw materials by far, and their biggest trading partner by far. When we go through resource by resource, metal by metal, go through energy products, it's the same story. BRICS countries, plus their new friends in the Middle East and South America and Africa, they have it all. All the mines, the refineries, and the factories, all stitched together by Chinese railroads and ships and money. China was the world's biggest extractor in 2023, 34.2 billion tons, 4 times the amount of India or the United States. And India, by the way, just passed the United States to be the second biggest miner in 2023. China's 34, India's at 8. China plus India is 42 billion tons of energy and metals and minerals. And we know who's got the factories too. So when your 3-year-old picks up something and asks where it came from, just say it was one of the BRICS. You'll probably be right. This is Kanas, one of the grasslands in Nemogu in North China. Be good.
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the gentle, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. You are the salt of the earth.